Good morning, folks. This is Deb Delapiana, and today we're going to get into some meaty stuff here. We're going to talk about the Respect for Marriage Act. Now, the Respect for Marriage Act has managed to make it through the Senate. Finally, it will go to the House. The House is expected to approve it, and then it will go to Joe Biden's desk for signature, and he will undoubtedly sign it. But let's talk about all of the fine print surrounding the Respect for Marriage Act and where we come down on top of all of this. So this will protect, I have notes here because I don't want to use screen videos. It will protect both same-sex and interracial marriage, as I understand it. But it is not a direct support of the Obergefell versus Hodges decision, which legalized same-sex marriage nationwide. This particular bill does allow states to discriminate. States do not have to, they are not required to issue same-sex marriage licenses under this bill, which they are required to do under the Obergefell SCOTUS ruling. And there are religious exceptions, okay? In deference to people's religious rights, churches are allowed to discriminate. Now, this is just a personal thing for me. The last place I'd get married is in a church, honestly. I don't really care. If they're uncomfortable with it, then I'm not going to be comfortable getting married in a church. So for me, to force a bakery to bake my fucking wedding cake and to force a church to allow me to get married in it, to me, that's like capitulating to them. Why would I want to pay a bakery to grudgingly make me a cake? And why would I trust that cake? So, let me just say that's where I come down on that. And that's not going to be everybody's feelings. I get that. I know some people who are wrapped up in religion who are LGBTQ. No question about it. I'm not one of those people. So, in essence, if Obergefell does end up getting overturned by the Supreme Court, and I wouldn't trust the Supreme Court for shit, honestly, they say no, but you know something, you know what? They said the same thing about same-sex marriage. The three justices who were instrumental in overturning Roe v. Wade, rather. I mean, they said the same thing about Roe v. Wade, and the three justices who were instrumental in overturning Roe v. Wade lied during the confirmation hearings. Let's make sure we understand all of that. So to trust them not to touch contraception, interracial marriage, whatever, same-sex marriage is bullshit. It just should not be done. You have to be really naive. So there are 12 GOP senators who crossed the aisle for this bill. And if I have chance at the end, I'll name the names. Okay, I have them written down. It does repeal the Defense of Marriage Act. Now, let's talk about where we were 26 years ago. Neither party was in favor of same-sex marriage, okay? 18 years ago, the George W. Bush administration used it to help him get reelected to the presidency because it was smart politics at that time to introduce bills defining marriage as between a man and a woman. And several states did it. And George W. Bush himself proposed a constitutional amendment, which was shot down, but it was smart politics. 14 years ago, Barack Obama did not support same-sex marriage. He came around 10 years ago to the idea of supporting same-sex marriage because it was politically intelligent for him to do so. Now he is a big supporter. And the American public right now, the approval for same-sex marriage is at 71%, the highest it's ever been. But this is my point. People's civil rights, right down to the basics of who you love and who you marry and who you live with and who you share a bed with, should never be political fodder. This is where I have a problem with all of this. Winning hearts and minds is great if you're building a new bridge, or you're building a building, or you're, instituting a new dam, okay? and you have to make the people living in that area warm up to that idea. But the notion that we have to build consensus around people's right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is patently fucking absurd. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. What I really think needs to happen here in this country is a new Bill of Rights, because I think they did it all wrong to begin with. They should have written the Bill of Rights first and based the Constitution on the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights was kind of an afterthought. And, my group, the Factivists Project, has actually taken the 32 human rights that was developed with Eleanor Roosevelt in the, it was an international Bill of Human Rights, by the way, and various other organizations. We have taken that and we have rewritten it, and we think it needs to be very specific. We think we need to write in the names of everybody who has rights. We all need the same rights, whether it's me, who's a lesbian, my daughter, who's transgender, the woman across the way who's straight as an arrow with 6 grandchildren, the man that, drives my Ace truck every Thursday. We need to have consensus around the fact that everybody gets the same rights here, no matter what their color is, no matter what their sexual orientation is, no matter what their gender identity is. These are people's rights enshrined in the Constitution under the guise of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And if you believe that marrying somebody is the pursuit of happiness, well, I might tend to differ with you a little bit, but that, I digress. Okay, that was a joke. Those are people's basic rights. And why the government should, have to file bills that can later on be overturned depending upon what administration is in is ridiculous. The fact that we have to spend our time getting the American consensus up to 71%, how long did that take before we could come to the conclusion that this was a good idea? It is a good idea. We need everybody to have the same rights in this country, okay? And we need these things to be enforced. There is no dancing around. We have rules and regulations for everybody, but nobody follows them. Okay, nobody in the government follows them. And frankly, some people don't follow them either. Okay, just take a look at the MAGAs. Take a look. So this is where we come down. We have the Bill of Rights all rewritten. Now, it's in a very rough form. We are looking for input. It is on our website. It is under the tab Our Vision. The website address is www.factivistproject.org. If you want to go and take a look at them, that's where you can go. If you want to supply us with some input on them, we invite that as well. Our email address is factivist.project@gmail.com. Feel free. We'd love to open up a back and forth dialogue with some people who are logical for a change, because we've had enough bullshit from the far right to muddle our brains. So all of this, by the way, this Respect for Marriage Act is a moot point, because really this bill exists to protect same-sex marriage and interracial marriage from the Supreme Court, from whatever they may do. So Obergefell, as it stands, with the nationwide approval from the Supreme Court, stands right now. This is just in case the Supreme Court decides to rear its ugly head on this subject. So think about what I said. Let me know how you feel, and we will talk to you soon. I'm sorry I didn't get to read the names, but I'm running out of time on this video. It is out there in a CNN article that is entitled The Fine Print of the Respect for Marriage Act. You can look that up. I will talk to you all later.